Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever for a 2v2 team matchmaker ladder? Something like that. Played on Wonder 4v4. I don't have anything to talk about today, so let's get into introducing our players, but before we do, consider liking and or subscribing. And I will now introduce our players. Starting with Team 1, in the top left, we have ourselves a Blue Seraphim by the name of Flying Olsen, going first land. And then his ally in this match, a Gray Cybran, going first land by the name of Sulfur 1. And he is gonna be rocking this backward position on this map, of course, having about 30,000 reclaim, just under it. And you have a bit of a weird situation in 2v2 where one player kind of takes up like three-quarters of your side of the map and the other player gets like, they're on the poverty line. Either way, let's go ahead and introduce our second player. We have a red, or our second team, we have a red Cybran going by the name of Mandalore, who went first land. And last but not least for the entire game, you may have seen him on the News Hub recently. He is a Yellow Seraphim player, and his name is Banani. And he is gone first land, and he is, of course, the highest rated player in this game at 2010. Wow, what a year. He is 2,010 ladder points over here on the team matchmaker. I'm sure it's even higher in the solo matchmaker. And yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one to cast. It's gonna be a fun game. So yeah, strap in, get your popcorn, all that, and we're gonna speed it up. See how this early aggression works out. Banani in the power position, he's going to be able to grab up a lot of map control. Meanwhile, Sulfur in the opposite side of the map is in that position as well, so we'll have to keep an eye on exactly how these players expand, how efficient they can be, and how they can keep their economies balanced while taking all of these mass extractors. We have a few harassing units out from both sides. We have a Hunter and Double Scout, which is going to be running away from the likes of Sulfur's Tank and Scout. These two Hunters are faster, but they're kind of running out of map to run to, so that is probably mildly concerning. As far as other harassment goes, we have a Tank and Celine combo out from Flying Olsen to try and kill off some of this early expansion. For Banani, does manage to pick up an engineer, which will be unfortunate for Banani, but he's already producing so many engineers, he's going to be able to get out and expand pretty quickly. I don't think it's going to be a huge issue. Hunters up here dying to the likes of Mantis out from Sulfur. And we in the south have another Thom and Celine combo, but there's a Thom out from Banani. Gonna be possibly able to help out there. 5 engineers going down to a single bomb out from Sulfur's bomber. That's going to be quite painful. A lot of harassment going down on Banani trying to shut him down, which is a pretty smart move out from Team 1. Of course, you are dealing with a very high-rated player, and while Sulfur and Olsen are not necessarily pushovers in their own right, they are indeed a bit scared of Banani, I'm sure. We do have ourselves a bunch of Mantis now trying to harass out from Mandalore. Do manage to pick up a mass extractor, but are going to pay for that with their lives. We also have a couple Medusa able to escape that engagement. And in the middle, we have a large group of Thoms now moving in, trying to pressure towards Banani or Mandalore. Mandalore, of course, the lowest rated player in the game at 723, the only player below 1,000 rating. He will have to pull his weight if his team wants to win. Of course, if he gets steamrolled within the next couple of minutes, and then we have Sulfur able to plow through Banani's kind of setup right now, it would be horrible for the southern team. Banani, of course, is a very good player, but I still think it's hard when you only have like 25% map control to win, no matter how good you are. If the enemy can throw more shit at you than you could even hope to produce, it is a bit difficult. We have the two comms of Olsen and Banani about to meet over here. Banani not really having the production. He doesn't have quite as many units on the field as Olsen, so Olsen using his lower economy start but throwing it all into more factories and such, not really ecoing up. Meanwhile, Banani's already getting up some T2 mexes, getting up some more economy behind him, so that will eventually mean that Olsen cannot keep up with the production of Banani, but for now he has free reign to harass and try and prevent expansion out from Banani. And on the other side, Sulfur being able to expand quite peacefully. We don't have the same aggression coming out from Mandalore. Mandalore a little bit more timid when it comes to using tactics of aggression. He would rather probably play it a little bit more defensively, as lower rated players generally do. When you get higher rated, you end up being more and more aggressive, and until you hit the wall where you're like, I'm so aggressive, but I keep dying in the first 5 minutes of every team game. Yeah, that's a problem. I mean, a lot of really high-rated players die in the very beginning of games because they're just super aggressive. So, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. We have a bunch of interceptors now going down. Banani getting air control pretty much by himself, but he is going to lose it immediately as more reinforcements show up for Olsen, and Sulfur has his one interceptor flying around over here. Speed and range on the way for Sulfur. Going to be able to be a little bit more aggressive, be able to push into this position held by Mandalore with that. And T2 on the way for Flying Olsen. It is paused all of a sudden. And we have a lot of units still kind of duking it out. A relatively calm early game. There's been some harassment thrown at Banani, but it really hasn't slowed him down all that much. Still able to reach out and grab all of these expansions quite easily. A large force now building up for Sulfur over on this eastern flank, looking like he's poising to try and take out Mandalore. Mandalore has a few defenses set up and he's trying to get up more factories, but he is also gone for a little bit more of an economical route, investing in some T2 mexes. He's very low on the factory count. He only has 3 in his main base, and he's about to have 3 more up on the front, but if these 3 go down, his production is just not going to be able to keep up with his economy. He's gonna be overflowing mass if he can't find a way to spend it all. Looking overall here, we're getting close to the 10-minute mark. Let's go ahead and look at some reclaim numbers. We have 5.5 thousand for Banani and Flying Olsen at 5.3 thousand. 3.3 thousand for Sulfur and 1.2 thousand for Mandalore. So shaking up pretty evenly on reclaim. Just a slight lead on reclaim over to Team 1. And over here in the middle, we have an engagement between Flying Olsen and the Thoms out from Banani. Down here on the east side, we also have aggression going out from Sulfur. Neither of the players on the southern team on Team 2 able to kind of support each other. The aggression coming out of both Sulfur and Olsen at the same time means that these players are going to have to try and defend on their own, because both sides trying to stop whatever is coming at them. And now Mandalore in that position I was talking about. Now he's going to have a little bit of trouble spending his mass, but that may not be an issue because it looks like he's about to lose some mass extractors. But without those factories, he's just unable to spend it, and that's going to mean that Banani is going to get a little bit of overflow here soon. Mandalore going to be getting up to that mass, the mass limit very soon. Banani, on the other hand, is spending his mass just fine. I'm sure he'll be able to even handle the overflow if need be. And we have the calm of Mandalore and the units coming up to try and stop this run by from being critical damage. Sulfur getting quite a bit done with his aggression. It does look like Banani was able to clear up what the aggression out from Olsen is now coming over to try and defend against the likes of Sulfur, but Sulfur does have that gun comm from earlier, so he's going to be able to deal with this quite well. He's going to be able to get quite a little bit done. Him being Cybern has also kind of helped him out because he's been able to just build on the wrecks of Mandalore, and he's gotten a factory up very quickly and will be able to keep on building more infrastructure as he pushes forward. Very quick expansion out of him. We'll have to see if he can manage to hold on to it, and if he can, that will be significant for his team. As Mandalore is now getting speed and range on his comm, going to try and go for the gun comm to help himself out. He is finally spending his mass again with that upgrade, but not exceptionally well. Needs to get up more factories. Honestly, just kind of probably spam out factories or rush T2 on one of these factories and put a bunch of engineers on it and hope that you can survive long enough to have a significant T2 force. Speaking of T2 though, we have T2 finished up for every player but Mandalore, and we have a few T2 units floating around for both Banani and Olsen. We don't really have many T2 units out on the field for Sulfur yet, but the Ilshivas are starting to flow in from these two Seraphim players, and it is going to mean that the game is going to tech up, and we're going to be in a bit more of a economic importance position. Earlier on, you can kind of just say, fuck my economy, I'll throw it all at units and try and win early. Now we're starting to enter the mid-game with T2 units coming online. People's economy is getting stronger, and now we have ourselves Ilshivas and Hoverflak just kind of chilling at various points. Banani coming over with the gun comm is able to help deal with this aggression out from Olsen, this push, but this area down here in the southwest corner is going to go down quite quickly. This run-by going to continue to have value, and it's just Banani has not quite been able to just put all of his units in one place and push. It does not seem. He's not been able to get any damage done on the other side of the map, which is a bit concerning as his opponents can continue to eco up and get strong economies behind them. And as he's dealing with this large invasion and run-by on the west side, the middle is being absolutely destroyed. We have a bunch of units out from Sulfur, backed up by some units from Olsen, and they're pushing in. They're going to be killing off mexes that were halfway done upgrading. That is going to be brutal. Going to set back the economy of Banani for a little bit. That was a wasted investment, I guess is what you could call it, as his mexes that were upgrading do end up going down. And now we have the units being cleared up by the reinforcements of Banani, but that is going to set him back a little bit. It does seem like with this situation, Sulfur and Olsen need to constantly be putting pressure on. Otherwise, they're going to be leaving a very high-rated player who knows how to abuse his economy and get production up very quickly. They're going to be leaving him to just wreak havoc on this game. They're doing quite a good job of keeping the pressure on and trying to stop Banani from being able to consolidate and get himself in a good position. But nevertheless, Banani is still sitting on quite a strong economy. 103 mass a second versus 91 to 95 out from Sulfur, and that is the person who should be matching him. Sulfur hasn't really been harassed this game. He's just kind of behind economically. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but he's not been pressured. He's not been losing mass extractors, and he's behind. That's it is a lot. Now we do have Banani pushing forward with his units and his commander. The commander of Flying Olsen now he canceled that T2 earlier, it would seem, and he now has gun speed and range on the comm. Every comm in the game has speed and range. We also have stealth on the comm of Sulfur. Banani continuing to push forward with his units. These Ilshivas paying dividends. I believe he has more than his opponent, so Olsen gonna have a little bit of trouble trying to kind of just stop this from moving forward. And for the first time this game, Banani able to get out and deal some damage towards his opponents. He's not been able to really sink his teeth into getting aggressive so far this game, but now he's going to be able to throw units into the backline. It would seem he might even be able to get a run-by right here and get into this production area for Sulfur, or just try and smash the army of Olsen straight up and just continue to push forward into his territory. We do have a T2 point defense finished up for Olsen, which could be a relatively good way to bolster his forces to stop a push from working, but not necessarily great if that's all he has, and he needs to try and keep some form of military fielded. The hover tanks, the Yinzins, getting in first with their extra speed, going to be able to kill off a few mass extractors. It does seem, this run-by I was speaking about earlier, definitely coming to fruition, and it's going to be causing a decent, maybe not as much value as Banani would want. but it does tie up the forces of Flying Olsen, which means that now Banani has a bit of moment of reprieve to build up infrastructure and the like. The P-Gen right here may be going down. Can the Ilsheva do it? Oh, leaving it with 50 HP. That does feel bad. These two Ilshevas will never get in range to deal with it. The shield does go down, but not quite enough to kill off that power generator. I don't think losing that power generator would have been... actually, it would have been a power... Or no, it wouldn't have been a power stall. I was looking at the wrong bar. No, it would not have affected Sulfur too adversely. Mandalore and Silver going at it. We do, of course, have Banani's troops over here trying to help out, but Sulfur having quite the entrenched position. He has units here. He has some Cerberus, T2 PD. He has Rhinos. He's not going to be pushed off this position super easily unless we're going to be seeing something like a double comm push out from the Team 2 players. And Mandalore has stabilized his economy quite weak, 33 mass a second. That's half that of his counterpart, which would be Flying Olsen. So it does seem that Mandalore is struggling in this game, but he's gotten up a bunch of production. Is he stalling? No, not really. His economy is balanced. He's able to afford everything he is throwing money into, but he doesn't have all of his factories building at the same time. And we have T3 land finished up now for Sulfur. Sulfur going to be able to get up some loyalists from the look of it. That's what he's opting for. As far as T3 goes for Banani, we are 50% of the way there. There's no T3 on the way for either Olsen or Mandalore, and that's understandable. Neither player could afford it, I do not believe. Mandalore, maybe with the reclaim economy he's getting right now, could afford T3, but instead, he's focusing on having a large Ilsheva force. Mandalore now getting stealth on the comm. Sulfur starting to push out with his comm a tiny bit, getting a lot of reclaim. Speaking of reclaim, we've talked about the economies quite a little bit. Banani leading the pack with 25,000 reclaim versus 19,000 and 15,000 for Sulfur and Olsen respectively. Mandalore, the short stack on this yet again at 2.7 thousand reclaim, and I'm pretty sure he could have more. A lot of the reclaim over here is being scooped up by Banani, but I think that's just Banani just like, he's sending out engineers to reclaim simply because he's not confident his ally's going to do it, and it's free real estate, it's free mass really. Can you actually get engineers over here to reclaim all this stuff on the mountains? Like, do you have to drop engineers to get this reclaim? That just doesn't seem worth it. I've never noticed that on Wonder. Like, all of this reclaim that's up here on these hills. Like, if you drop an engineer, like, in this crater, can it No, it can't traverse that. There's no way, no how. Yeah, you'd have to drop each mass thing. That's annoying. I would never do that. Over in the southwest, we have Banani's comm, which now has Nano Regen, fighting with Olsen. Olsen is now in a bit of danger. He's got gun comm, he has a lot of Ilshevas, but he's just kind of outnumbered, and it's not working out for him. We're down to 4,000 HP and kind of falling. He's going down on health quite quickly. He just got veterancy and went up to 7,000, so he should be relatively safe. Mandalore being pushed, on the other hand, is a bit more dangerous. He's up against Loyalists, and he only has a few T2 units, so this is going to be difficult. He's going to need really, really good overcharges, and I don't even know if he has an E-storage for overcharge. It's very possible he does not. Let's go ahead and actually check on that really quick. No, he doesn't have a E-storage. He cannot overcharge these Loyalists, so the Loyalists gonna be doing decent damage, and the Cerberus here gonna help try and defend, but Mandalore could be in huge trouble as of the moment, as he's being pushed back by all of the units out from Sulfur, and Sulfur's comm itself dealing quite a bit of damage. He's still relatively healthy, and now he's dropping into the yellow, which means a lot less healthy all of a sudden. And he is going to continue to be having to fight all of these units. The Mantis pouring in damage, and I think this is going to be our first ejection of the game here at the 20-minute mark. We're about to lose ourselves Mandalore, and he goes down in a ball of death and flame. And that means that Banani is the sole proprietor of all of the structures and units of Team 2. Of course, when you're playing on the Team Matchmaker, it is full share on every single map, which is, of course, a good thing for Banani and not necessarily a good thing for Sulfur or Olsen. I don't know. I would have kept... I don't know. Maybe this is greedy of me. I would have kept using the comm here. I would have kept trying to kill off structures. Nano repair on the way for Olsen. His large force of the Oshivas being assisted by a single loyalist. But now there's a lot of units. T3, of course, finishing up for Banani. We have Othams, those T3 siege tanks, now heading up towards this eastern front. And now it's Banani versus the world. The large invasion force of Olsen coming forward, trying to get Oshivas over here. Looks like he may be wanting to assist his ally in a larger push over here, but he's going to be taking somewhat attritional damage as he walks through this area, taking shots from Zuis, being chased by Oshivas. He's of course faster than enemy Oshivas, so he's not quite being attacked just yet, but also running into Othams. Othams quite good, but a lot of Oshivas can deal with them really quickly when these Oshivas are outnumbering the Othams so heavily. But there's a bunch of T1 PD here, which is going to make this even less cost-effective of a trade. And these Oshivas are slowly being whittled down. A ton of T1 units, mainly Medusa, being produced out of these factories. We also have the odd T2 unit out, a Fire Beetle here or there for the likes of Banani. Cerberus being built, Cerberus-I? Multiple Cerberus being built on the front line to try and stop Banani from maintaining control of this area. I don't know where the comm of Sulfur is going. I don't understand the call to fall back here. I think you could keep your comm there on the front line and it would be just as effective. I don't think you're in worry of an air snipe, as you do have air control, and as far as the ground goes, you have T3, you can keep contesting this. Overcharge is such a powerful tool, and you could push Banani off of this position if you were committed. Or at least force Banani's comm to move from this little middle area where he's playing kind of vanguard against units out from Olsen. Let's go ahead and check back in on Reclaim. 36,000 versus 30,000 and 21,000. So Banani not quite able to keep up overall with Reclaim. Team 1 ahead on Reclaim overall. And as we look at the economies, 352 mass a second, which is a strong economy out from Banani, versus Sulfur at 213 and 105 for Olsen. So the economies, with Reclaim at its current numbers, it kind of seems that Banani's just getting more mass into the coffers than his opponents. He's managing to get constant flow of about 200 mass a second from just Reclaim on top of his 300. And the Reclaim not going quite as well for Sulfur. There's a lot of bricks over here now trying to whittle down the forces of Banani. The Medusa being hopeful to land a hit here or there, try and whittle down the bricks, but the brick count is continuing to rise. A lot of assistance on this factory, and there's now multiple T3 factories. Looks like gonna have 3 T3 factories when all is said and done. You also have Trebuchet, T3 mobile artillery, now getting onto the field to try and harass the positions of Banani. A large group of Ilshvas here in the middle, just starting to push down on the unit on the position of Banani, but that nano comm is going to be very difficult to deal with, even if you got all of these Ilshvas on it. I'm not sure if Banani wins or loses that. It'd actually probably be a close battle. brick count is increasing. He is building a wall, and he is building it with bricks, as you should do. He does lose a couple of bricks to the artillery, but how many artillery did each of those bricks kill is the question of the day. This brick is about to go down. Needs to keep these units moving. The artillery is going to be able to trade efficiently if the bricks aren't constantly moving. Or not necessarily efficiently, but trade well enough to stop the bricks from being a problem. Trebuchets now starting to fire. And the bricks are kind of skirting their way around the outside of this base, killing off everything in their path. A lot of walls have been thrown up by Banani, but a lot of walls have also been killed off. There was a wall here for a while. I guess it was reclaimed. Do we have anything spicy going on? He has enough economy. You can probably just build an experimental, to be honest. We do have a T3 power generator going online. I would guess after that ends, we might see like a chicken or some kind of transition into air, as he does not have any kind of teched up air. Does he even have an air factory? What? Air factory. He has air factories. Can you stop? Can you stop producing things for just a second? Damn it, Banani. He has one air factory for both of the factions, but he's not in any way really interested in producing air. A real threat at this point would be the fact that there's T3 air, I think, for one, if not... No, it's just Olsen. Olsen, if he scouts properly, should just kind of realize that he could just strat snipe Banani. Banani needs... Oh, there's a chicken. Banani doesn't have enough air defense or shielding right now to just survive a strat snipe. If he just stops producing everything else and only produces... What's he getting on the comm? What is this? Advanced nano repair? Okay, so he's going for homeless man with a gun strategy, because that's what he's gonna be if he doesn't, like, actually field something to try and at least destroy the economy of Banani. Banani needs to be stopped. He is in a position now where he's making, with reclaim, almost 1,000 mass a second. He is ridiculously quickly able to throw together a Yathoda. Sulfur working on a spider, but the spider is being built slower than the Yathoda is, which is significant. Yathoda costs more, and it's being built faster. And now we have bricks still over here. It's just this constant battle of bricks dying and like slowly gaining ground, but that's gonna change very soon as we have the chicken completed. The chicken will probably be used up here in the northern side. The bricks may be able to kill off the chicken, but I don't know how far the chicken will get. Like, will it be able to break this position? If it does, then it's gonna be a situation where Banani has a bit more free range to try and poke and prod towards Sulfur. Let's go ahead and check on the economies. 270 mass for Sulfur, Olsen at 194, and 500 for Banani. That's just the generated eco, not taking reclaim into account. Overall reclaim numbers, the numbers for Banani have skyrocketed. 85,000 reclaim. He's managed to out reclaim both Sulfur and Olsen in just a matter of a few minutes. He's just constantly got engineers everywhere. We just do this, this, and this. You can see at any given time he has somewhere around 100 to 150 engineers. Sulfur has completed his Monkey Lord. The chicken has pushed forward and is now starting to kill off bricks. Otham's gonna eventually be up here to support. We also have some sniper bots built up by Banani. A large push out from Flying Olsen, but it's gonna run into a better force. It's just T3 units, which are kind of inherently better. Looks like there was possibly some tactical missile snipes down on to these mass extractors down here to the south. But overall, it's just, you can see, I think every single mechs that wasn't belonging to Mandalore, okay, almost every mechs is T3. He's currently sitting on 20 T3 mechs, and they all, except for these two which are getting it right now, they almost all have the protection that they need. They all have, or not the protection, they all have mass storage. I'm losing my mind. Yothoda over here taking a lot of damage, down very low on health. The plasma death ball is gonna hit the spider, which takes a lot of health out. Another plasma death ball in the air. Is a third one going to manage to come out? If it does, no. The Monkey Lord does manage to survive, but only 7,000 HP, and in the amount of time it took the other Yothoda to die, another one has been built already. And we have a nuke launcher on the way out from Banani. That is going to be a scary sight for Team 1. I don't think either of them have built anti-nuke, and we have a megalith now on the way for Sulfur. The Monkey Lord going to continue to try and be aggressive with it, but the second chicken might be a thing to be scared of. The scouting for both teams, neither team has like complete knowledge, neither team has great information. I think that Team 1 should have perfect information. You have T3 air, build air scouts, find out what's going on, come up with a strategy. The strategery. The Monkey Lord now falling back as the chicken rolls into sight. The problem with this is the Monkey Lord dies. And with the Monkey Lord dying, even with all of these bricks being produced, the chicken's gonna be able to get some progress done. The last chicken kind of knocked on the door. This chicken's showing up with a battering ram. The nuke launcher is complete and is gonna get a lot of, we're gonna be building more power, and then I'm guessing it's gonna get heavily assisted. The megalith is about 60% done and rising. We have Volthus out here in the middle trying to help deal with this yellow tide of units. Bricks dying in mass. I'd be interested to see how many bricks have died. I mean, he's fielding 8 bricks right now, but he currently has how many factories is this? He has... Can I please select that? Is there any more? Well, he has like 5 T3 factories, and for a while they were all producing. Now, of course, throwing a lot of mass into things like megaliths. And, yeah, there's another chicken on the way, and there's heavy assistance on this nuke launcher, and Banani able to... Well, actually, kind of looks like he's having trouble spending all of his mass, but with 53,000 mass storage, you can spend a lot of time not able to spend your mass before you absolutely have to. Bricks, single file walking to their death. And the megalith finishes. Can I select your megalith? Thank you. Thank you, game, for letting me do the thing I wanted to do. Alright. Man, megalith looks really cool, not gonna lie. I do like the look of the megalith. It is probably, and I know this is heresy since I'm an Aeon, I'm the Aeon representative of the casters, but it's probably my favorite experimental. It's a battleship with legs. Come on. Alright. The megalith now pushing out. Gonna be threatening the chicken. Now you can see in the background there's another chicken producing. Man, just gonna watch this for a little bit. I'll bring the HUD back up, so that way you can see that the mini-map doesn't work. Never mind. Can I do this? Oh, I can. I can totally do this. Alright, so we can see there's a bit of aggression coming out on the western flank via the minimap towards these positions held by Olsen, but that's not being anything of importance. We have ourselves on the minimap well, you can see it from the minimap, but yeah, I'm casting via minimap now. All right, we'll stop doing the cool thing. We'll stop tracking the megalith. I'll zoom out the minimap so you all don't. Oh, you're zoomed in the minimap, and then. Oh, also, fun fact: when you like zoom in on the minimap, you can also like do camera controls on it, but it glitches out. Oh, also another fun fact: if you ever want to trip somebody up, you can come over here and you can go to the minimap view in the normal game. I should just cast a game like this and not mention it to anybody. Like, one day just cast the game like this. Alright. Now that I'm done being my ADHD self, we have double megalith versus 2 chickens. Alright. Poor megalith is gonna go down. And we have that nuke launching, so we're going to back off and go over here to the nuke launch area. If there's an anti-nuke, we'll see it. If there's not, well, we'll see something pretty, at the very least. As you can see, chickens completing in the back screen. Like, you just saw this one complete. We have 2 chickens walking over there. And nuke lands. And Olsen is dead. And there's another chicken on screen all of a sudden. And that's the end of Olsen. Can Sulfur manage to put together some kind of stalwart defense? I am unsure of it, but over here we can have an epic shot of a megalith fighting chickens. Alright. So, what is the answer for Sulfur? This nuke launcher is already like a third of the way. It's almost halfway done, and there's not even anti-nuke started yet for Sulfur. A giant run by out from Banani. It's looking pretty dire. I don't know how Sulfur wins this. Chicken out for Sulfur, formerly the chicken of Olsen. Chicken on chicken violence, which, you know, I'm all about cockfights. And we have Yathotas on Yathotas on Yathotas. A ton of Volthus, but they're going to be getting shot down by the T3 mobile anti-air. So it looks like we're going to be trading one chicken for another, because this chicken goes down to the Othams and the Ion Storm. We have a megalith now here in the middle, throwing shots into the opposing chickens, but now we're going to have shield generators showing up to try and give some artificial HP over to the Yathotas of Banani. We still have a few shots going into that chicken, but that chicken should be able to run away. And we have that large run by from before has just managed to sweep the leg and just kind of destroy the economy of Sulfur. the megalith over here in the middle, fighting the chickens, and he's gonna do quite well. I think he's gonna get both chickens. So all of the experimentals for Banani are gonna be dead, but we also have a T3 artillery that's finishing up because Banani. And that is the end of the game, right? Like, Megalith has to end the game and Megalith's gonna die. So Megalith dies. GG out from Sulfur. And that's the end of the game. Thank you all for watching. You all have been beautiful. Like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you to my patrons, Timothy Calderwood, Sergeant Syphilis, Idle Betazoid, Nogthar, Mutant Gene Pool, Icy Nightmare, Sergeant Syphilis, Nogthar, Icy Nightmare, patrons, y'all are dope. Idle Betazoid, Mutant Gene Pool. Who am I missing? Timothy Calderwood? Timothy Calderwood. Let's throw that one in there. Alright, bye.